let me tell you, this is the ultimate command sign test. It literally has some of the hardest questions that you've ever seen, and I'm not even joking when I say that. So please grab a pen and a paper, because there's so much that I need to break down and explain. You need to write this down. Question 1. When you see the tram only command sign, which of the following statements is correct regarding other vehicles and road use? Now let's take a quick look at this sign. Can you see how it's a circular sign with a white border and a blue background? Now the icon in that sign is going to be known as a tram. Now for those of you that don't actually know what a tram is basically a form of public transport, right? It's going to be a vehicle that's going to move on rails that are located in the street, right? So is it option A, all vehicles must stop and wait for the tram to pass before proceeding? Is it option B, only trams are allowed to travel beyond this point or lane and any other vehicles must not enter? Is it option C, bicycles and motorcycles are allowed to share the tram lane? Or is it option D, pedestrians have the right of way over trams on this road? Remember, this is going to be a command sign, and the tram only sign is going to basically indicate that that lane or the section of the road is going to only be reserved for trams, right? So if we look at option C, it says bicycles and motorcycles are allowed to share the tram lane. That is incorrect, because the lane is only for trams. With option D, it says pedestrians have the right of way over trams on this road. Again, that is incorrect. With option A, it says all vehicles must stop and wait for the tram to pass before proceeding. That is also incorrect, because there should not be any motor vehicles on that lane, right? That lane is exclusively for your trams. So option B is the correct answer. Question 2. While driving on a road, you see the following sign: a blue circle with a white border and the number 60 inside. Which of the following best describes the legal instruction associated with this sign? Is it option A, you must not exceed 60 kilometers an hour under any circumstances? Is it option B, you are legally required to drive at least 60 kilometers an hour unless traffic or road conditions make it unsafe? Is it option C, the sign only applies to vehicles driving in the fast lane? Or is it option D, the speed shown is recommended when road conditions are poor? Now remember, this sign is actually going to show you the minimum speed that you need to drive, right, on the specific road. So if you see the sign and it says 60 kilometers an hour, that means that the lowest speed that you should drive is 60 kilometers an hour. Therefore, with option A, it says you must not exceed 60 kilometers an hour under any circumstances. Now that is incorrect, because remember, that is indicating the maximum speed limit. And if it's a maximum speed limit, it's going to have a red border and a white background. With option C, it says the sign only applies to vehicles driving in the fast lane. Again, that's incorrect, because this sign is going to apply to all your lanes. Remember, if your sign is only referring to one lane, there's going to be an additional sign that's going to instruct that, right? With option D, it says the speed shown is recommended when road conditions are poor. Remember, this is not a recommended speed, right? This is the minimum speed. Obviously, unless your road conditions are hazardous, like there's heavy fog or a traffic jam. Therefore, option B is going to be our correct answer. You are legally required to drive at least 60 kilometers an hour unless traffic or road conditions make it unsafe. Question 3. You are driving a heavy-duty truck that has a gross vehicle mass, or a GVM, of 11.5 tons. You encounter a blue circular sign with a white border and the number 10T inside. How must you legally respond to this sign? Is it option A, continue driving at any speed below 10 kilometers an hour as long as you're being cautious? Is it option B, drive in the part of the road that is indicated by that sign? Is it option C, avoid entering the road altogether because your vehicle exceeds the limit? Or is it option D, the sign only informs you that your truck's mass must not exceed 10 tons to proceed? Now you need to remember that since this is a command sign, it's instructing you to do something, right? And since the sign says 10T inside, it is instructing you that if your truck weighs 10 tons or more, you need to drive in this particular lane, right? It's not restricting you from driving in the lane, it's instructing you to drive in that lane. And if we look at our question, it says that our truck weighs 11.5 tons. That means that when we see the sign, we actually need to drive in that part of the road or in that lane. Therefore, option B is going to be correct, right? Drive in the part of the road that is indicated by that sign. Question 4. You are approaching a temporary roadwork site at night. A blue circular road sign with a white arrow pointing diagonally to the left is mounted on a traffic barrier. There are no cones or flag personnel visible. What does the sign legally require you to do? Now, before we continue to the answer, can you see how this is a situational question? Now it's going to give you a certain situation or scenario, and based on the knowledge that you have of the sign, you're going to have to answer the question. Now let me make this clear. You will never get this exact same question coming out in your test. So write down exactly what I'm about to say, right? You need to understand exactly what the sign means so that no matter what scenario they give you, you will always be able to understand what is needed from you and you will get that answer correct. Never ever try just to memorize the questions, because like that you're actually digging yourself into a deeper hole, right? So is the correct answer option A? You must pass to the left of the obstruction unless you are driving an emergency vehicle? Is it option B? You may pass on either side of the obstruction if the road appears clear? Is it option C? You are legally required to keep to the left of the sign regardless of traffic conditions? Or is it option D? The sign serves only as a warning of upcoming construction and it can be ignored at night. Now remember, the sign is going to give you an order, right? It's not going to give you advice or a suggestion. So if you see a white arrow that's pointing diagonally to the left, it means that you have to pass to the left of whatever obstruction or hazard that's there. And there's no question about it. So with option A, it says you must pass to the left of the obstruction unless you are driving an emergency vehicle. Now that's incorrect, right? All vehicles have to pass to the left. With option B, it says you may pass on either side of the obstruction if the road appears clear. That is incorrect, because remember, this arrow is pointing to the left. Therefore, option C is the only correct answer. You are legally required to keep to the left of the sign regardless of traffic conditions. Question 5. You are driving on a dual carriageway during early morning traffic when you encounter a road maintenance vehicle partially blocking the left lane. A blue circular road sign with a white arrow pointing to the bottom right is fixed on the rear of the obstruction. What are you legally required to do? Is it option A? You must reduce your speed and pass the obstruction on either side depending on traffic. Is it option B? You may pass to the right or left provided that no traffic officer is present. Is it option C? You are legally required to pass to the right of the obstruction even if the left lane appears open. Or is it option D? You must stop and wait for traffic to clear completely before proceeding. Now this is the exact opposite of the previous sign. So that means that if you see the arrow pointing towards the right hand side, it means that you are only allowed to legally pass to the right. Therefore, option C is going to be our correct answer. Question 6. You're approaching an intersection and see this command sign, right? It's a blue circle with a white arrow pointing to the left. Which of the following is the correct course of action? Now remember, this is a command sign. It's going to instruct you to do something. And since the arrow is pointing to the left, that means that you need to move towards the left hand side, right? So is our answer option A? You may turn left or go straight ahead depending on traffic. Is it option B? You must stop completely before deciding which direction to take. Is it option C? You are legally required to proceed left only as no other direction is permitted. Is it option D? You must give the right of way to oncoming traffic before turning right. Now option A says you may turn left or go straight ahead. Again, that's incorrect because you need to only turn left. You're not allowed to go straight. With option B, it says you must come to a complete stop before deciding which direction to take, right? You're not allowed to decide which direction you need to take. So option B is incorrect. With option D, it says you must give the right of way to oncoming traffic before turning right. Obviously that's incorrect since we are actually supposed to turn left. Therefore, option C is going to be our correct answer. You are legally required to proceed left only as no other direction is permitted. Question 7. You see this sign while driving and it's a blue circle with a white arrow pointing right. What does this sign instruct you to do? So obviously this is going to be the exact opposite of the previous sign. That means that if that sign instructed you to go left, this sign is going to instruct you to go right. So is our answer option A, you may go straight or turn right? Is it option B, you are only allowed to proceed in the direction of the arrow and that is to the right? Is it option C, turning right is optional if no traffic is coming? Or is it option D, you must stop and give way before turning right? Now the correct answer here is going to be option B, you are only allowed to proceed in the direction of the arrow and that is to the right. Question 8. What does this road sign instruct drivers to do? Is it option A, you must turn left or right at the next intersection? Is it option B, you may continue straight or turn if the road is clear? Is it option C, you are only allowed to proceed straight ahead? Or is it option D, you must stop and wait for further instruction? Now since this sign is pointing straight ahead, it means that you are only allowed to proceed straight ahead. Therefore, option C is going to be our correct answer. Question 9. You see the sign at an upcoming T-junction. However, your GPS tells you to turn right and there are no physical barriers blocking that direction. What must you do? Is it option A, follow the GPS and turn right carefully if there are no other vehicles? Is it option B, proceed straight across the junction since no stop sign is present? Is it option C, ignore the sign if there's no traffic officer present and go right? Or is it option D, obey the sign and turn left even if your GPS instructs otherwise? Now you need to remember that your GPS instructions are not going to override any road signs, right? Your road signs are always going to come first. So if the sign is telling you that you need to turn left only, you need to follow exactly what it's saying. So option A says follow the GPS, obviously that's incorrect. With option B it says proceed straight across the junction. Again, that's also going to be incorrect because remember this sign is telling you to turn left. With option C it says ignore the sign. Now you can never ignore a sign unless a traffic officer instructs you to do so, and option C says there's no traffic officer present, therefore you cannot ignore that sign. So option D, obey the sign and turn left even if your GPS instructs otherwise, is going to be your correct answer. Question 10. You're approaching a controlled intersection with this sign displayed at the turn. There's a green traffic light and no oncoming traffic. A side road to the left is open and it seems clear. What is the correct and legal action? Now remember, this sign is going to instruct you to turn right only. So why would you want to turn left or go straight? So with option A it says turn left if you're familiar with the area and there's no traffic. That is incorrect, right? It's only telling you to turn right. With option B it says continue straight ahead if there's no physical barrier. That's incorrect because obviously you're not allowed to go straight. With option C it says turn right as instructed regardless of what the traffic light or roadside conditions show. Now that is correct. Question 11. You're driving in an unfamiliar city and approach a narrow pathway marked with this sign. The GPS suggests it's a shortcut to your destination and there are no visible pedestrians at the moment. What must you do? Now if you take a look at the sign, we can see that there's going to be a pedestrian icon in that sign, meaning that lane or that narrow pathway is only for pedestrians, right? So is it option A, drive slowly and proceed if no pedestrians are present? Is it option B, drive through carefully since it's a suggested shortcut? Is it option C, stop and check for pedestrians and proceed only if it's safe? Or is it option D, do not enter, this path is legally restricted to pedestrians only? Now the correct answer here is going to be option D, because since it's a command sign, it's going to tell you that that road is only for pedestrians, right? No motor vehicles or bikes are allowed on that pathway. Now remember, if this sign was a different color, so if it had a red border, a white background, and you had a red line going through, that means that that is going to prohibit your pedestrians from walking in that pathway. But since it's a command sign, it's saying that only pedestrians are allowed there. Question 12. You're driving on a road with a pedal cycles only, so basically a bicycle sign, and you notice that there are no cyclists in sight. The road appears clear and it leads to a faster route that could save time. What is the legal and safe course of action? Is it option A, drive through the area at a very low speed as there are no cyclists? Is it option B, continue driving if it seems empty and assume the sign doesn't apply to cars? Is it option C, stop and check for any cyclists before proceeding, ensuring it's safe? Or is it option D, do not enter or drive on this road at all, as it is exclusively for pedal cycles? Now can you see how, if you truly understand what the sign means, you will be able to answer it no matter what scenario or situation they're going to throw at you. Now because this sign is instructing that that road is only for pedal cycles, with option A it says drive through the area at a very low speed. That is incorrect. You're not allowed to enter that lane, right? Or that road. Now with option B it says continue driving if it seems empty. Again, even if it's empty, you're still not allowed to drive there. With option C it says stop and check for any cyclists before proceeding. You're not allowed to do that. Therefore, option D is the only correct answer. Do not enter or drive on this road at all, as it is exclusively for pedal cycles. Question 13. You are a delivery driver in a residential area and your navigation suggests a shortcut through a path marked with a pedal cycles and pedestrians only sign. You notice a wide paved path ahead with no barriers. What should you do? Is it option A, proceed slowly and carefully since the path is wide enough and seems empty? Is it option B, proceed only if you switch on your hazards and yield to any pedestrians or cyclists? Is it option C, do not use the path at all as it is strictly for pedal cycles and pedestrians? Or is it option D, use the path but only during daylight hours and under 20 kilometers an hour? Now in the sign you can see there's a pedal cycle and a pedestrian, meaning that only pedestrians and pedal cycles are going to be allowed in that road. So option C is going to be our correct answer. Do not use the path at all as it is strictly for pedal cycles and pedestrians. Now one thing to note about this sign is that there's going to be a couple variations, but as long as you're going to see an icon of a pedestrian and a pedal cycle, the meaning is going to be the same. No matter whether the pedal cycle is going to be on the right side of the sign or on the left side, it's still going to mean the same thing. Question 14. You are riding a 125cc scooter and approach a path marked with a motorcycles only sign. Your friend who is riding a quad bike wants to follow you through the same path. What is the correct course of action? Is it option A, proceed normally and allow your friend on the quad bike to follow since it's similar to a motorcycle? Is it option B, proceed but tell your friend to wait as only two-wheeled motorcycles are allowed? Is it option C, wait for your friend to catch up since quad bikes fall under the same class of vehicles? Or is it option D, take an alternate route as scooters are not allowed on motorcycle only paths? Now if you look carefully at the sign, you can see that that motorcycle is going to be a two-wheeled motorcycle. So quad bikes are not going to be allowed to enter this path. Therefore option B is going to be our correct answer. You need to proceed since your scooter is allowed, but tell your friend to wait as only two-wheeled motorcycles are allowed. Question 15. You are riding a motorcycle and you approach a road with a motor cars only sign. What should you do? Is it option A, proceed as motorcycles are similar in size to motor cars? Is it option B, stop and turn around as the sign excludes all vehicles except passenger motor cars? Is it option C, proceed only if your motorcycle is a superbike? Or is it option D, slow down and proceed with caution? Now obviously since you're riding a motorcycle and you're not driving a passenger motor vehicle, you are not allowed to go down that road. Therefore option B is going to be a correct answer. You need to stop and turn around as the sign excludes all vehicles except passenger motor cars.